Hello beautiful people of the internet, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah if you're new here, and I'm so excited that you've joined me today. Am I wearing my Luke sweatshirt again? Yes, but as long as it's still fall, I'm gonna live in it. Guess what we're doing today, guys? We are gonna talk all about audiobooks. But we're not just gonna talk about any audiobooks. No, we're gonna talk about the best audiobooks. The audiobooks that stand out among the rest. The audiobooks that are interactive. The audiobooks that make you think. The audiobooks that make you dwell on the book weeks after you finish it. That's what we're going to talk about today. Now, before I start, I want to admit the fact that I am not a huge audiobook reader. I would much rather read the book physically than listen to the audio, but there are times where when I'm working on something, or if I'm coloring, or if I'm doing a puzzle, or whatever it may be, driving to work, I listen to an audiobook. And those are the times where I find the most beautiful, most interactive audiobooks, and I'm so excited to share them with you. Buckle up. The first audiobook is actually part of a series, and that is the Women's Murder Club series by James Patterson. I have talked about this on my channel before, and I won't beat a dead horse, but this series just hits so different. So basically, this is following our main character, Lindsay Boxer. And Lindsay Boxer is a cop, and she lives in San Francisco. So she's part of the San Francisco PD. And each book reads as if it was a true crime podcast, like you're following different aspects of this different cold case or this different fresh case. And then as the series goes on, you learn about different characters and you meet new characters, and then you start to follow them. And it's just so wholesome, but at the same time, it keeps you on your toes. I just love this series. Honestly, some of the things that are in here are a little bit outdated because I think that these books were written quite a while ago, but you just kind of have to look over that. This is definitely a series you can't take too seriously, but I can eat these up. I think I'm on book number 9, about to start 10. I think there's 23 in this series, so I have quite a bit left to go. The next audiobooks I want to talk about are the Campers and Criminals series by Tanya Capes. This is a cozy mystery series that follows our main character, Mae West, and she gets the surprise of a lifetime when her ex-husband is arrested for fraud. Well, she's living life luxuriously right before that. And so obviously everything is taken from her and she's kind of standing there with nothing. The only thing that she has left to her name is the ownership of this RV park. And so she packs up everything that she still has and drives out and moves to this RV park. So obviously this is a cozy mystery series, so there is murder involved and there is sleuthing involved. The reason that I put this on here is because I've only ever consumed these audibly, and I truly don't think that there's any other way to do that. The narrator, I forget her name, but she is so much fun, and her voice is just the most perfect narration I've ever heard. So you just gotta trust me on this one. And honestly, some cozy mysteries are just better listened to. Another audiobook that I absolutely adored and ate up was Insomnia by Sarah Pembroke. So this one is following our main character, Emma, and Emma is about to turn 40 years old. And that's a huge deal for her because when her mother turned 40 years old, she went mentally insane. And so obviously Emma is having some doubts and some questions that is she going to do that too? The reason her mother went mentally insane was the fact that she stopped sleeping. And then the closer that Emma gets to her 40th birthday, she notices that she's not sleeping very good. This one is so good. I'm just telling you right now, Sarah Pembroke, genius. Genius. If you've not read Behind Her Eyes, that's also a good one. I listened to that one as well. And this one, I think, was even better than Behind Her Eyes. And the plot twists themselves, insane. Like, who thinks of this stuff? Yeah, I tandem read this one, and I think I devoured it in like maybe a couple of hours. It was beautiful. Here's another thriller audiobook that I devoured in a couple of hours, and that is The Therapist by B.A. Paris. I have never read by B.A. Paris before, and I just kind of picked this one up on a whim, and I'm so glad I did because I still think about this book. So this one follows our main character, Alice, and Alice and her partner move into this new house, and they're so excited about it until Alice starts finding out some things about this house and about the therapist that lived there before. It was so good. It was so good. Just listening to it though, and the narrator, if I remember correctly, I think she had a little bit of an accent. It was so good. It kept me on my toes. It kept me wanting to know more. This is a good one. And another cozy mystery audiobook that I really liked was 2 parts sugar, 1 part murder, and this is by Valerie Burns. I loved this story. It was so cute, and it was exactly what I needed. You know those times when you just want to kind of not really have to focus on anything. You can just listen without a care in the world. This is what this felt like for me. This one follows our main character, Maddie, and Maddie's great aunt has just passed away suddenly and has left Maddie her bakery as well as her pet dog. And this dog, I forget his breed, but he's huge. He's huge, and I'm sure that you can tell by the cover. I just forget his breed now. But Maddie is so shocked at this realization. Not only does she have a new dog, but she also has to run a bakery by herself. So Maddie decides to move down there and start up the bakery, and she's doing just fine when all of a sudden the town mayor is found dead in her bakery. That will definitely put a damper on business. No, like I said, this one was a very easy read. It was a very comforting read. You know those audiobooks that just make you feel so warm and cozy? This was definitely one of those for me. This next one, y'all, one of my favorite books of all time. The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes. I picked this up on a complete whim and so thankful that I did, because not only is this one of the best audiobooks that I've ever listened to, but it's also one of the best books that I've ever read. So this book takes place in the Depression era in Kentucky, and we're following our main character, Alice. And Alice is from England, and obviously she has moved far away to Kentucky, and she is marrying into this richer family, and they're having this town meeting, and her father-in-law is a huge part of the town, and a woman speaks up about this new mobile library, and she speaks very passionately of this mobile library, and she says that she needs more volunteers to volunteer for the library. Well, Alice raises her hand and says, yeah, I'll volunteer. It was very looked down upon for women to even consider working or volunteering for anything like that. She was definitely questioned. But she does it anyway, and she meets this woman named Marjorie. And together, Marjorie and Alice and a bunch of other people work this mobile library and bring books to people that they've never gotten a chance to see. I cannot say enough good things about this one, guys. If you take any of my recommendations today, let it be this one. Oh my goodness, especially if you love a good friendship story, if you love found family, standing up for what you believe in, any of those things, this book has it. And I have recommended this book to everyone, including my own mom. So please, please, please. I know. Read this book. This next recommendation is very easy. If you've read this audiobook, then you absolutely know what I'm talking about. Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Why is there even a physical book? Why is there a physical book in existence? So this takes place in the late 60s, and it follows our main character, Daisy. And from the get-go, Daisy has kind of been forced to find her way in the world, and she does. She turns to music and the streets and just finding jobs anywhere that she can. And obviously it's in the 60s. There's a lot of rock and roll going on. There's a lot of bands coming up, and she finds herself the lead singer of the 6. The best part of this whole narration is the fact that it is a full cast. And if you've never listened to a full cast audiobook, they are delightful. And honestly, it makes it so much easier to keep up with who's who is related to who, and what they have to do with the story. It was wonderful. Again, I'm a firm believer in why is there even a physical book? This audiobook is a masterpiece. The next audiobook is called Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. This one is following our main character, Will. And Will is 15 years old, and he has just learned that his brother was killed in a drive-by shooting. He doesn't live in a good part of town, and there's a lot of gangs around, and obviously he believes that he was shot by a gang. So Will is very angry when he learns this, and he grabs a gun and goes to the elevator and is on his way to shoot his brother's killer. Well, on the way down in this elevator, he starts noticing that the people getting on and off are people that he's met before, and maybe even people he thought weren't around anymore. I love this book so much. It has such a special place in my heart. This is a hard read, guys, and it was definitely a hard audiobook. It was a very fast audiobook. I think it was like 3 or 4 hours, and I actually even have the graphic novel version, and it's just such a sad story, but it's such a good one. And the last audiobook that I want to talk about is one that I actually just finished, and that is The Family Game by Catherine Steadman. Oh my gosh, I did not know that I was going to enjoy this one as much as I did, but I gave this 5 stars. So this one is following our main character, Harriet, and Harriet is marrying into this very rich, very fancy family. And honestly, she has no idea what she's getting herself into because she finds that this family has a lot of secrets that most people don't know. And she finds that this family plays weird games, weird mind games, weird physical games, and yeah, they're just very weird. Well, Harriet finds herself in a mess when she finds out that maybe their games are a little bit more sinister than she thought. This was so good. And the parts that I loved most about the audiobook is that it was very interactive. So for example, there was a tape recording in here, and you could actually hear the tape actually start up, and it sounded like it was a little far away. And the phone calls, it felt like you were actually talking to someone. It was kind of creepy, but in the best way possible. I loved this one, and I love a good audiobook that just pulls me right in. All right, friends, that is all of the audiobooks that I have to share with you today. Have I read so many more audiobooks? Yes, I have, but these are the tried and true ones that I continue to think about to this day. And when I think of the best audiobooks, these are the ones that I think about. But I hope you got some good recommendations today. Please let me know a good audiobook down below that I missed or maybe I don't know about. Let me know your favorite audiobook down below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, my friends, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, friends.